I'm Chrissy Lawrence, and I am the founder, CEO, and all the other hats that a founder has to wear at Plan. And I have bootstrapped a high-scaling startup to over 500,000 downloads with absolute donuts. So it's quite unheard of to be a tech founder that has completely bootstrapped with literally credit cards and mortgages. And so I wanted to share with you my story of how I got here, with hope to inspire you that you can have some takeaways of how to get quite creative when you literally have donuts. So what Plan is, it's a mobile app that helps people get discovered, build influence, and make sales using Instagram. And it came from a necessity of this, from a marketing background. There were so many people that just didn't understand that trying to sell something wasn't about putting your portfolio into the world and saying, buy my stuff. It was about telling a story, making them fall in love with you as a human, and then asking them to buy. And so it won't be lost on most of you that this is the exact technique that I use to sell my own business. So in the last 18 months, in the last 1 year of a SaaS B2B business, we have quite a list of milestones. My personal favourites is obviously ranking the top 1,200 apps in the world, which has been quite crazy considering there are 2 million apps in the App Store. Second to that, we've grown the team from 0, well, me and my yoga pants in my spare room, to over 20 in 9 countries. And I now mentor on 3 startup accelerator groups between here and San Francisco. So right at the beginning, like how do you even get started doing that, right? It comes right back down to product market fit. You're doing your research about your product. You're asking people, will you buy what I'm selling? And that's the entire research phase. So anyone that said yes, they were an immediate, well for me, they were a prospect right from day one. So my email list grew while I was in research phase. And these people became my biggest cheerleaders. They became my beta users. They became the people that gave me the best honest feedback about my product right at the buggy beginning. The first decision that you have to make, though, as a founder is, are you going to grow for user base or are you going to go for revenue? Now, if I was in Silicon Valley where it's unicorn or bust, I would have gone straight out hard with, I'm going to get as many users as possible, I'm going to scale this thing to massive for over a year and then make them pay. But I'm a female founder with an outsourced tech team, I have no experience in tech, and I'm definitely not an investor's dream. Well, I wasn't then. And then the other option, which is what most Australian businesses go, because that's what most of our investors look for, is how much revenue are you going to make? But for me personally, as a bootstrap founder, I had no other option than I need to make money, otherwise I can't support my server costs. There's just no other way. So the first tip that I really share is the more you know about your people, the more money that you are going to make. And I really strongly believe that this is the crux of how we got our growth. So our customer personas are so detailed and so in depth that if an 18 to 55-year-old woman selling their business on Instagram, I'm going to bet 99% of them have social anxiety. They're a little bit worried about what they're sharing online. They're worried about their aesthetic. Is it on brand? Does it have the right filter? And I knew that. So I went against all UI and UX feedback that says do not put your logo in the workspace of your app. And I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And they're like, you're insane. I'm like, trust me. So what happened was exactly what I thought. People would start scheduling and planning their feed. So the beauty of Plan is that you can actually drag and drop your workspace. So you can create a brand aesthetic so people know within 2 seconds if they're going to follow you. So what these people would do is they'd plan their feed, take a screenshot and chuck it in Facebook groups where they had between 50 and 100,000 people looking at what they were doing. And here's an example from right when I started out. Carly Brown from One Piece, which is a swimwear label, posting her business. So technically, this is a sales pitch for One Piece. She's saying, here's what I do, but I'm going to sneak it in with some social help by telling you about this app. But what she's actually doing is advertising my product as well. And this is where I got my first set of users. One thing that they really teach in accelerator companies is that in order to actually scale, you have to do things that just don't scale. So as an example, when I was in cafes, I'd watch these girls taking terrible photos of their brunch, like absolute dog's breakfast. So I would get up, oh, there's a gap there. I would get up and I would literally stand on the tables and be like, guys, you need to tell a story here, the cup goes here, the thing goes here. And by the end of brunch, I probably had 20 downloads. And I literally did that everywhere, much to the horror of my friends and my husband, but it worked. The second thing that I did was when I started growing my website, I understood that people were not on Instagram to learn how to do Instagram, but they were on Google. So my SEO began right from day one. And with SEO, you don't write about what you want to write about. You write about what they are searching for. So you need to understand and find tools to help you find what they're actually searching for. So one of the things that I learned was that people always want content, and they really, really want people to visit their own website. So one of my first things of like the don't scale things was creating a pack and sending it out to people that had blogs that said, here's a trending SEO topic right now. And I would switch it. I would either be something like how to plan your Instagram or Instagram planning apps or something like that. I'd give them all the keyword semantics. I'd meta tag all the images for them. I would create the content and send it to them. So in my first 6 months, I had 1,500 backlinks to my website, and we now get over 1 million page views a month. I also have like a huge list of things that I also did. I'm definitely not a poster child for work-life balance. I've worked myself into an ambulance twice in the last 12 months and don't recommend it, but I do recommend knowing what your limit is. So there are definitely things here. Building an engaged community on social media. Obviously, I am a social media platform, so that's what we have to do. So when we actually launched, I figured out who my personas were, and then I learned who what's now known as influencer marketing was and contacted them. So I would turn on the post notifications of the influencers, and every time they posted, I would be there like writing something quirky. It was not nice with a bicep emoji. It'd be like, that's a great shirt. Where'd you get it from? How can I get one? Like legit conversational. So people forget that being on social media means making friends. And so that's really what I did. What that led to was that I then had influencers that became beta testers. And then on launch day, I had 100 influencers talk about my product for free, which gave me 1,000 paying customers in my first week and $10,000 to rebuild my MVP with a new team. Yeah, so you feel free to steal any of those. Cool. So what the heck is growth marketing and growth hacking? It's actually a mindset that you can adopt into your own team. So just to let you know, it's not new. It's just a re-way of packaging up what already exists. So growth hacking, right? There are 27 different types of marketing in the world, and growth hacking really means how quickly can you learn which of those 27 make you money. That's literally it. For $100 test on all of these different channels, which one is going to make you the most money? That's literally growth hacking. Growth marketing, however, is a different mindset, so that it's a team concept and a team growth thought. So what we do at Plan is that we have big posters on the walls for the different funnels that we have. So growth marketing means how do I optimize every single piece of the funnel? So right from the social media and the top of funnel, right through the product funnel, and right through the nurturing and churn funnel. There's 3 funnels in there, and each of them are broken down into steps. We have about 30 different metrics that every month must move forward. And if they don't move forward, then it's not a failure if you know why. And that is what we teach. Well, that's how I've taught myself how to run my business with my team. So it's not siloed out. Everyone has the same goal. And every month, everyone is accountable for a metric. They don't come in just to tick yes, I wrote a blog post today. So how the heck do I get my users for free? We get over 15,000 new users every single week. And I have to admit, I actually stole from my competitors, because where there's smoke, there's fire. You sign up to their onboarding email list, you sign up to their churn list, you get out of their onboarding process and steal what you want and turn it into your own brand. You go through their shopping cart list, and no doubt they'll send you an email to say, hey, you didn't purchase, steal it, all of it. So we have a few competitors that change their call to actions, and it's so much cheaper than hiring an entire growth team for like $300K a month. One of my competitors changed their call to action buttons all the time, but now I know they're green. Now mine are green. Okay, so here's where I get most of mine. So on Facebook groups we've touched on, SEO and blogs we've definitely touched on. The ASO, which is App Store Optimization, we get over 200,000 impressions in the App Store, and that's down to doing 50 different tests over the last year. It's creative tests, it's messaging tests, it's benefit-led, it's feature-led. It's the entirety of app tests, and again, I steal from competitors. Like, what are Tinder doing? Who's the top grossing app in the world? But you will probably think is a free app. What is everybody else doing? So obviously organic Instagram, and a huge piece of our business and our brand is is we're super quirky. So I've kind of like pulled bottles of my personality and poured it through the brand. So if you're trying to leave us, or if you're trying to, troubleshoot, you don't get, "Hi, thanks for your email." You get, "Oh shit, that sucks." Like, you literally get a person on the other end that emails you back. My brand is incredibly human, and that goes through all of the customer touch points, like even down to the App Store updates. We don't just go, "This is a performance update." It'll say something like, "We've done work under the hood. This is a V8 in a Mini," like something incredibly random that people actually take photos of and share on Instagram. So that's something for us. These are our top 5 customer acquisitions that are all free. So now, how do I get them from free to actually pay? I steal. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I touched on, I don't have the money again as a bootstrap startup. I don't have the money to fund a growth team, but what I do have is a lot of stealing ability. And if you have a look at other companies, this one I recommend not doing competitors, is other people in your industry. And I'm gonna give the best example that I've come across from a conference I went to in Vegas, when Duolingo, who's the top downloaded, what's it called? Language thingy. It teaches you how to make businesses. But what I learned from them is, instead of doing a vertical subscription page, do it horizontal and you'll grow by 15%. So I've stolen them, and that is our current test. My next test for next month is actually adding in our own cartoons and in a carousel style, and we have little cactuses. So that's what we've got coming out next. So yeah, stealing is awesome. So if you take anything from today, it's really about test, optimize, rinse, repeat. Like, my poor team, that's all I say to them. They come into work, and the one thing I make them all say when they start work is, "What are you going to do today that's going to make money?" They have to push everything else aside. It's legitimately what they all have to say to me. And my husband, who's just joined the team 4 months ago, cleans up all that. Cool. So one of the biggest things is listening to your users as well. So what do they want? Our users are now growing into teams. They want to work not on mobile anymore. They're wanting to work as mobile. And you know how I said to scale, you have to do things that don't scale? Well, now that I have your attention, we're launching web soon, and it'll be great if you all signed up. So yeah, I am super open to questions and super conversational. So if anyone has any questions about any of that, I'm an open book and happy to help.
Sorry. Anyone has a burning question? Know everyone is on Instagram and looking at their story. We've got a quick question at the end of the room, and then we'll all take a break, and Christy will stick around for more 101.
Cheers. You seem to be pretty forthcoming with like what you think particularly worked and what didn't. What's the biggest fuck up you made while you're trying to grow?
So many. I did a talk at Seabird on that like a couple of months ago. But the biggest thing for me, from a non-technical background, was thinking that a developer did all the developy things, right? That's really it. So when my app went down, Amazon servers crashed, and my developers had hard-coded our IP address. So when they reset it, my app went down for a week, and the nerds in the room will know a black screen for a few days, and then having to get it rebuilt and back through Apple was when I put myself in an ambulance. I had 7,000 emails over a weekend and onslaught of reputational damage. Yeah, biggest fuck up. Yeah. Oh, V.
This is something that we're working at ourselves within our own team is, and I might have asked you this before, so sorry, Medium versus your own blog under your own domain.
It depends on the purpose. So for me personally, my users don't give a shit about me as a founder. They don't care. Okay. Right? So Medium, Entrepreneur Inc. and the big Huff posts, they actually trawl Medium looking for founder posts. So Medium for founder life and planthat.com for Instagram help.
So you go to, I think, Ahrefs and all the SEO fancy places, get the keywords and chuck it up on your website, but you're saying more founder journey story and the
Correct.
hoopla.
But there's a lot of work in there. Like, for example, my blog. So we have over 1 million page views now, like I mentioned, and how did we get there, right? So I started blogging once a week. It started to grow. I started 2 blogs a week, then I got to 3. I was like, wow, this is awesome, double down, 5 posts a week. We actually, because we had so much content, people weren't sharing it that much, and it actually reduced our domain authority. So we went back to 3, and then we changed our strategy. So in SEO, you can, when you're looking for the keywords, you can actually choose, am I looking for people to share, or am I looking for people to read? And there's actually 2 different strategies in there. So at Plan, we do a 50-50 split.
Sorry, last question. And this is to do with I don't know whether you read or if anyone knows of TBH, the company that got about $100 million by Facebook after 9 weeks. They had a huge PR release a year ago. And they talked a lot about how you need to build your product so that it markets itself internally. So, you're engineering for growth versus having product as a vertical and then marketing as a vertical with one fighting against the other.
Correct.
And you showed a glimpse of that with putting your logo inside the app and stuff. But is that something you consciously take into consideration as a product owner, or how exactly do you approach that?
That's exactly it. It's a whole team focus. But as the CEO, I'm also the director of product, and I come from a marketing background, so it is second nature to me. And then my team, if they engineers go, but I don't like how that looks, I'm like, I decide. That's a little bit of that. Yeah.
Big thanks, Christy.